There's a major development tonight in Australian rugby. The CEO, Raelene Castle, has resigned after the board made it clear she no longer had its confidence. The code has recently been in crisis. Here's a reminder of what's been going on. Raelene Castle took over the reins of Australian rugby in 2017. It's been a rocky road, including the sacking of Israel Folau, which sparked a prolonged legal battle. The Wallabies coach, Michael Cheika, quit, which he blamed in part on his relationship with Castle.
Yes, I would love to stay on.
Not exactly tenable when you don't have a relationship with a CEO or a chairman.
There were some wins. Castle was central in recruiting the new Wallabies coach, Dave Rennie, beating the All Blacks for his signature, and she also assembled a formidable assistant coaching group.
We've been in a significant fight to make sure we got his signature.
But rugby is struggling to get a new broadcast deal, and now a group of former Wallabies captains and players have signed a letter demanding new leadership. This evening, Raelene Castle resigned. In a statement provided exclusively to 7:30, she says, "I made it clear to the board that I would stand up and take the flak and do everything possible to serve everyone's best interests. In the last couple of hours, it's been made clear to me that the board believes my no longer being the CEO would help give them the clear air they believe they need." You can read her full statement shortly on the ABC News website. This story's been very fast moving. Raelene Castle recorded an interview with 7:30 this afternoon, just before this development. Raelene Castle, a group of former Wallabies captains has signed a letter calling for a change of administration in the sport. Nick Farr-Jones, George Gregan, among others, people who know and love the game. Are they right that the sport's lost its way?
Thanks, Lee. Certainly those gentlemen that you just mentioned are great Wallabies and have been great Wallaby captains, and those are the sorts of people that we absolutely respect their opinion. Do I think the sport's lost its way? No, I don't. Am I very keen to have a chat to them? And the board and I have invited them to come and have a chat to us, hopefully so that we can explain some of the work that's been done to try and reshape the sport over the last wee while, and also take on board any of the positive ideas that they've got to give to us.
Is there some sort of concerted campaign to get you? And if so, who's driving it and what's the motivation?
Yeah, Lee, I mean, clearly there's been some media attention which has been very focused. At the end of the day, I've got a job to do that's focused on trying to do the best thing for Rugby Australia and make sure that we can get through this really difficult time. And the board and I are absolutely committed to do the hard yards and make the tough decisions it's going to take to get through this.
Do you have any sense that you're attracting criticism because you're perceived as an outsider, a Kiwi and a woman running a sport whose biggest names are privileged, middle-aged Australian blokes?
I don't really think about it like that, Lee. When you're a sports administrator, you cop a lot of criticism often. It is a sport, like all sport, that attracts passionate views from people. That's why they engage in sport. They like winners and losers. They like the debate. They like the view. There'll be lots of people that think that there's things that I could have done better. They tell me that. They write it on social media. You form a very thick hide when you do jobs like this, but ultimately you've got to believe that you're doing the right thing for the sport, and that's what I said I'm committed to do, and I continue to try and make sure that I leave Rugby Australia a better place than when I arrived here.
Is Dave Rennie's commitment to remaining as coach contingent on you remaining at the helm?
There's no doubt that there was my being CEO, and you know, I had the final conversation with Dave before he made that decision to come to Rugby Australia and work with me. I've got a leadership style that he supports and would like to work with, but ultimately he knows, like in any job, things can change, and I know that he has a desperate desire to coach the Wallabies, and he's done a lot of work in the time leading up to for when he arrives. He's excited about the young talent that he sees coming through our platforms, and that was one of the major reasons why he decided to sign with Rugby Australia and come here. So he will come here regardless of where I sit, but I would certainly like the opportunity to work with him, because I think that together we could deliver some really great outcomes.
If you had to live through the Israel Folau controversy again, would you make the same decisions?
I don't think you could go through a situation like that and not look back and think there's some things that you could have done differently. In fact, many of my sporting colleagues from around the world rang me, as did many business leaders, and said to me, goodness me, that really made me and made us think about what we would do in our own businesses if that same situation presented itself, because it was unprecedented. And that's something that we all learnt from and we all worked through. Ultimately, we asked Israel not to do something because we believed it threatened the values of Rugby Australia. We had to make a decision on that. We have a group of sponsors that sign up to us and people that engage with rugby because of our values. It's very important to us, and we had to make a decision ultimately that we felt was in the best interests of the sport. We did that, we stood up for our values, and at the ultimate decision point we wouldn't have made any different decision.
Raelene Castle, thanks for your time today.
Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.